Hello and welcome to Excel Highway. This is part 2 of the staff automated booking file. In this part, we will continue to deep dive into the user forms and VBA code used to automate this file. In case you didn't see the first part, I recommend that you check it out and I'll add the link in the description. Enjoy! This video is sponsored by Connecteam. Start with the employee database. Let's start with showing you how this was built. So if you go to Developer, Visual Basic, and if you don't have the developer in your ribbon, you just have to add it with right-clicking over here, customize the ribbon, and you can probably go, usually it's over here, sorry. If it's unchecked, just check it and then it will appear over here. So I like to click here, then Visual Basic. You can also click Alt F11 as indicated. So let's start. I'll enlarge that because we are going to mainly discuss about the user forms here. So you can see I have 5 user forms for this and 2 models. Now the first user form that we saw is called Home. That's how it looks. Where's the information? I forget which one is it? No, it's not that one. Oh, good Lord. Alright. Where is it? Properties Windows. Okay, there you go. Alright, so just to show you, if you're not really familiar with user forms, I have a whole video just on that, and I'll add a link to that in the description so you can check it out yourself after the video. But essentially, I try to build my user forms in a very consistent way with the background and the colors and everything. So what I like to do, I like to remove the caption. Usually there's caption here you see on the user form. I'd like to remove it and just add a label. Where's the toolbox? So I just like to add a label, this one, and enter the text. In this case, I even added some manual space just so it's indented a bit, and give it a different color than the background. You play with the colors with using the back color. Okay. Then I created 6 command buttons. So these are command buttons. Where's my toolbox? This would be this one. So command button, you can just click it and just hide and just add it. And I changed the back color to white. And then let's take a look at the code behind the home page. So there's not a lot here, mainly the buttons. So each button, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the reason they didn't start with 1 is that this is not supposed to be here, nothing happens. Because I copied it from I started with a different form, so I just kept the numbers. So 4, 5, and 8 are the same. You see that the code is unload me and then employee form dot show. So that means unload me will close the current user form, and employee form, which is this one, will open that. So employee database, employee constraint, see 4, 8, and 5 should be. Each will basically call a different user form after unloading the current one. That's very simple. That's what it's done here. Book shifts will close the user form and call a function called book shifts, which is the function over here, which generates the booking, and we'll talk about that later because that's probably the most complicated part of what we have here. Clear booking, we'll call a function called clear booked, which will delete the booking sheet, which is relatively simple. And the last button is to unhide every sheet. That is just a simple loop that goes through all of the worksheets for each worksheet in worksheets, or WS, sorry, which is a parameter for worksheet. ws.visible equals true. The reason I have that here because in the workbook, whenever you open it, this is how you can put some automatic code whenever you open an Excel file. So I'm going to have that. First of all, remove the text from Jumbotron, because if you open it in the booking status sheet, I want it to be empty. And then I just want to hide the backend sheets, the ones that are colored in gray. And I colored them in the same color for this function. I want to be able to use the color to identify what needs to be hidden. So same loop as before, but just I have an if. So if worksheet.tab.color equals RGB 208, 206, that's just the color of the, that is the color of the current color that I have. I want to show you, yeah. So why doesn't it show me? Tab color. More color. Yeah, okay, now it does. So see, that's just the color that I selected, and that's how it looks. So whenever it identifies that color, it's going to hide it. And lastly, activate the booking status sheet. All right, so back to here. We talked about the codes over here. Let's continue our adventure. So today's video is sponsored by Connecteam. Connecteam is an app that simplifies all of your business operation management. It's a perfect solution to manage, train, and communicate with your non-desk employees. I want to show you how easy it is to build your team schedule using Connecteam. Simply go on the desktop to your job scheduling, access your schedule, and select the dates. You can always click on Show Today, it'll show you today. Now first things off, you can click on Actions and copy previous week, which is nice and easy, and you can start things off the right way. You can also clear the week. Okay, so I'll get things started and copy from previous week again, just to show you. And how do you add shifts? So when you click on a cell, which means the date and the person, you have the plus sign to generate a shift from scratch, or use the templates. So if you click on that plus sign, you get all the options. You get the start and end date. You get an option to set this as a repeat shift, so you can set that up right here, which is very nice. The shift title, which job, Soup of the Day or Big Burger, the two restaurants that I have here in the example. The user, that is, you can add to that shift already, or you can enable users to claim this shift, meaning they can use the app and just select it as their shift. You can type a location like New York, for example. All right. You can add some notes, you can attach files, and you can also add shift tasks that will appear and are like mini checklists. But I really like to use the templates, and the templates is where you set up, you see I set up 4 different shifts for the 2 restaurants. One is for the cook, one is for the waiter cashier. These are small restaurants. So you have 2 different templates. To build a new template, you can click on this button, Add Template, and you can just start typing everything as I showed you before. Let's say host. This could be for the soup of the day, and in New York, and save as template, and that's it. I have another option ready. Okay, so now if I want to assign people using the templates, I can click on this button and just select another template. Now you can see here, maybe you didn't notice, but as I added another shift to this person, you can see this become red because I'm overbooking that person above the limit. I can also see it here in the conflicts. Sorry, not in the conflicts, but I can see it over here. Basically, when you set up your team in the settings, in the limitations, you have an option to set up the maximum hours per week, maximum number of shifts. So whenever that exceeds that number, you'll get these warning messages to make sure that you don't overbook someone. Of course, once you publish, people can see it on their schedule. Now, if I put someone double book him, then you would see this icon over here in conflicts, and it does show you now, it does show you that 2 overlapping shifts and also exceeding the limit and the weekly number of shifts. Okay, so that tells me I have to remove one of the shifts. All right, I can move it to here maybe and see that it's okay. Great. So that's pretty much how you can do it. At the end, you just publish, click on publish, and now you have the shifts with the people assigned to them, and you're ready to start your work week. Here's how it looks like from your employee's perspective. They can click on the notification bell and see new shifts being published. They'll get upcoming shifts over here. And they can also click on the job scheduling, where they can see a shift and accept or reject it. Take a look at the open tasks and start filling out the tasks as they filled out. I highly recommend you start using Connecteam for your daily operation. Use my affiliate link in the description. You can start now for free. Let's show you how the more basic one works. Unhide. We'll just unhide all of the booking. And I don't know why this is now looking a bit different. Yeah, this should be 208, 206, 206. There you go. So that was the first one, which was more simple. Employee database. We'll open up a new user form called employee database. That we have here 2 labels. We have 2 combo boxes with the names of the people, and you don't have to scroll down. You can just look for a name, and it will start showing you if it exists. Same for the position, and we have 4 buttons here. Return to home, which I use all over here to bring you back to the home screen. Remove employee will remove the employee from the database. Change position will switch an employee to a new position. A new employee will create yet another user form. Let me just show you. If you click on, if you don't have an employee here, it will let you know to have an employee, and if you don't have an employee, this will also not work. But if you do, I'll show you in a second, it will work. Now if you click on new employee, that opens yet another user form. It closes the previous one. Yeah, that's always the case. So you close one and you open one, close one and you open one. So here you manually input an employee name and you select a position, and of course if you don't have all the information, you get this message. I'm going to return to home. Let me show you how the employee database works. So employee form, this is the first form. Couple of labels, nothing much here. Couple of combo boxes, and 1, 2, 3, 4 command buttons and label on top. Let's deep dive into the code. So in this case, we have to initialize whenever we create the form, and I'm using a function called refresh combo. Forgot a B and an O. but that's good because I use it twice, so it's good that it's not the same. Why I'm using that function? Because in this form, I may change the employees' names and positions, so I want the list to be updated. So I'm going to use that. You'll see that later on in the code. So this is how you generate a combo box in a user form using VBA. So combo box one.list equals, in this case I'm referencing a certain area, so it's Sheets database, Sheets employee database, range A2 through. Now this is going to show me the last row. So basically this is going to, same function that we used before, sorry, to give me the last row, dot value. So essentially what this does, this tells me that combo box list, combo box one.list, go to employee database, and basically go from here to the last row. That's going to be the combo. And for number 2, it's the same for just from column B. Okay, that's what those 2 lines of codes do. So that's the initialize. That's how you get things going. And then you have all the buttons that we have here. We have 3 buttons: remove, change, and new, and of course return home. So let's start with the delete button, or remove. So that's when you double click, you don't even have to write it. You can just double click on a button, and if you don't have a function for that, it's going to generate it automatically. But if you do, it's just going to bring you to the right location. So first of all, I'm checking the length of combo box one.value. The length of it will show me if somebody filled out, selected basically the combo box. So if that's empty, that means that they didn't select. So I'm going to give them a message box, please select employee, then show them a critical icon, and this replaces the title. So I don't like the Excel title that it has on the default. If the length is bigger than 0, so there is something selected, so I'm going to use last row and worksheet function. That's going to allow me to use just the Excel functions that you use every day on your spreadsheet. Going to use match, good old match. So combo box value, which is what you selected. Sheets employee database, range A, so that's the column of the employee names, and dot comma 0, so I want to have an exact match. And then I want to delete that person, so sheets employee database dot cells last row comma 1, entire row delete. And by the way, the reason I'm using the full name and not a parameter for the sheets, because a lot of times in my files I use WS as the worksheet parameter, and then I jump between functions, and I could drag the wrong definition of WS. So sometimes I just like to keep the full name of the sheet whenever it's a short code like this. So for two places where I could replace this with WS, it's not worth it. So you deleted it, then you call refresh combo box, which is that, because you deleted a name, you want a fresh combo box, and I want to assign a null or blank value to both combo boxes. That's how you delete a button, delete a name from a database. It's pretty cool. It allows you basically to control this database without being in it. So without having to like delete here or do anything, which you could of course, but that's how just you can do it in a structured way. What else do we have here? So this is the home. I don't use that, that's old, but in the home, that's the home button. Very simple. Unload me, which closes the current user form and calls for the main user form called home.show. That's very simple. I'm going to use that in all the user forms, the same thing. What else do we have here? Populate the position for name selection. Whenever you select, whenever you select a person's name, you automatically see their position. That is done using that code that I showed you, or started to show you. So private sub combo box 1 underscore dash, and again, if you All you need to do if you want these things, you double click and that generates, you see that generates automatically the code for the change. So that's just the easy way to start things off. So combo box change, whenever you make a change in combo box 1, on error resume next, I add that for these cases just to be on the safe side if for some reason a value was not found. So that just doesn't give you like a message and interrupts your entire file. Just give you the ability to continue working. So combo box 2.value equals, going to use a function from Excel, worksheet function .vlookup, as you probably know how to use that. Same thing here, vlookup combo box 1 value, which is the name, sheets employee database range A through B, 2 and 0. That's just going to give me basically this, whatever row I am, whatever position. Easy and simple. What else do we have here? Okay, new employee. As you saw, that brings us to a new form. So I'm going to unload the current form, create a new form, new employee. Update position, the last button that we have here. And for that one, I'm using the same method of checking the length of the combo box, but this case I need 2 because I want to see if I have an updated position. Just for the case that someone deleted the position that was automatically generated, whatever, and didn't put in a new one. So if one of them is 0, then the multiple of them will be 0. That's simple math, right? So if that's the case, I know that I have an issue. I'm going to give you the message box, and with that icon, I don't know if I showed you that, but let me just quickly show you that. So if I click on change position, just get that with the X sign. Please fill all the fields. You can add a title, of course, if you want. I wanted to keep it simple. So that's that part. But if the length of both is greater than 0, meaning there's something in there, and the nice thing about using a user form that way is that they can't do it manually, so they have to select from a list. So it just ensures that it's correct. So again, I'm using the last row to identify what is the row in the database using the match that we talked before. And I'm going to assign the second column row the value in combo box 2. And again, I'm going to call refresh combo box. So I've showed you, we talked about how to generate the combo boxes, how to remove, change, and new employee and return home. So when you click on new employee, now you have a text box, not a combo box because it's free text, and you have to select a position. If you don't, you get this message. So let's review how new employee is working. New employee, this user form, 2 labels for the headers, 1 text box, 1 combo box, 2 buttons. Look at the code. All right. This would be the home page. You saw the exact same method, which is great because it's an easy copy paste. The initialize, I used the same code as before because it's the same combo list. I even didn't change the number, even though I have 1. I just kept it as number 2 just so the code works. And for the new employee, it's very simple, similar to what we saw before. First of all, I want, in this case I did use WS because I have more lines of code, as you see. So using the parameter for employee database, last row would be, now I'm actually using the last row as I usually do to generate the last row. And now I'm checking if text box 1 value and combo box 2 value has some information in them. Otherwise, I'm stopping the process. I could have put that even before that, but it doesn't really matter. But assuming that they are both filled with data, so column A, last row, and column B will be filled with text box 1 and combo box 2, which is this and this. So that was the employee database with the new employee. Let's take a look at the model setup. The model setup is pretty similar to the remove and new employee. But it's even a little bit more easier. There's 3 labels here for the headers, 3 combo boxes, and remove shift, remove position, remove reason. You have to have something. The only difference is here for the new shift and new position is going to generate a input box. Add new line form, add new shift name, and you can add something here and it will automatically update, and then you can remove it and of course return home. So let's take a look at how that part is working. So not constraint, sorry, model form. So user form, 3 headers, 3 labels, 3 combo boxes, 6 buttons, and 7th is for the return home. Their order is not the same. You can see this one is 1, this one is 2, but then it goes kind of funky. But again, this is because I copied buttons between the forms. So let's take a look what happens in the code. Initialize, same method with the refresh combo boxes, because as these are buttons to add, remove options in the drop-down list. I want to do it a lot, and I didn't want to have, where's that? I didn't want to have these 3 lines appear every time in my code, so I just had that as a function. It's exactly like before, different columns, different sheet. That's going to give me the databases. Now, if I add and remove a shift, that is very similar to what we saw before. First of all, I'm checking if I have something in the combo box, in this case combo box 1. If not, I give this message, which is different between each one. If that is the case, then I'm going to search for the last row in column C in model database, and I'm sorry, this is remove shift, sorry. So now last row will give me the location of the value that I selected, clear it, assign a blank, call sort range, which we didn't have before, and I'll show you soon, and then refresh data combo box. So what this will do, this will delete one of them, but because I want this, I don't want the combo box to look like this where you have a blank. I want it to sort it. So the way that works is over here, after sort range, after changing. The sort range will receive the worksheet as a parameter and the column that you want to sort it by. This is for just one column. So L row 9, last row 9, and again, this is just to be on the safe side. I don't want to use the same parameter. So worksheet activate, last row 9, that's going to be the last row for that specific column that you sent as a parameter, and using the width ws.range cells 1. Instead of using, this is just to be on the safe side, cells 1 in column through last row in the same column. Sort key equals cells column order ascending header. This is just the text. This is how you use basically sorting. If you're not familiar with that, it's worth looking into. There's a few options here, but that's the very basic of it. So that will generate, where were we? That's going to generate a sorted range in model database, and I'm going to refresh the combo boxes to bring it again. Adding a shift, I'm going to call a function called new line, which we'll see. I'll show you now what it does. That's going to generate the input box, and I'm going to tell it where to save it. So model database column 3, and this is the text that I want to appear, because I'm going to use the same, basically it's the same code for either I'm adding a shift, a position, or a reason. All 3 are the same. I'm adding a new line to the database, I'm sorting that range now, and refreshing the combo boxes. So let's take a look at the adding the line that exists here in the model, because I thought I'm going to use it in other places, but essentially it's going to be used only in that form. So that's the code over here. So new line, WS is worksheet, column is long, text is string, and dim my value is variant. So my value equals input box text, which is what I'm passing to the formula, and add new line form, that is the header. last row of the specific worksheet, specific column, and I'm going to assign that value over there. Very simple formula, very simple code, and it does the trick really well. So that covers us on adding shift or position. You can see the only difference between them is the text and the name and the number of the columns. It is the same. Remove position, exactly like remove shift. Okay, just different combo boxes, different columns. That is all the same. Yeah, so basically all three are the same. And I think that's pretty, sorry, this is constraint. So yeah, all three are the same. They only differ with the column and the name that you want to appear here. Okay, and of course return home. So that was these two. We talked about the unhide backend sheets. Let's look into the clear booking function that exists over here in the booking. I will show you. It's this part over here. First of all, you get this message. If message box, this will erase the previous booking. Are you sure? Comma VB yes no comma attention. That's the title. So if this is generating VB no, then exit sub. What this line does is that gives you the ability to not delete. So if I clear booking, I get this message. If I click no, no harm done. If I click yes, the function, the code starts. So very simple code. Last row for the sheets booked in the first column, and I want to delete A2 through D last row. That's just going to delete everything here. We'll see soon how this works, but that's what it does. So that is the booking, clear booking. So we talked about 1, 2, 3, 4. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you found value in the content. If you did, please click on the subscribe and like button. Very much appreciated. See you next time.